My
what's wrong?
brother-in-law Terry and his buddy, they have an island that they like to fish, and we call it Brokeback Island,
Oh,
Oh my
And-
God.
right? Welcome to Cue the Mic. I'm Darren Worth.
And I'm the fabulous Randy Twyford. Very nice talking.
And I'm Emma Derflinger, and this is episode 61.
Ah,
I should have said, and welcome to On Cue the Mic, because I never
Yeah,
listened to episodes.
That's true, you don't.
What the hell was that last week, Twyford? Welcome
What's
to
that?
On Cue. You said welcome to On Cue the
Cue the-
Mic.
I
yeah,
don't know.
he just was
Emma
nervous.
had me nervous. Emma had me nervous. I was in the hot seat.
Yeah, I told him he could do the intro. I should just...
Yeah,
we-
but
do
we
we-
got through it.
Are we gonna have to list Twyla as a guest now?
This isn't Twyla. This is Cooper. But we could. She's over here.
Who's Cooper?
It's my aunt's dog. I'm
Oh.
dog sitting. He's a little clingier than Twyla is.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy's kind of clingy too.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know.
on certain days of the week.
We know.
Yeah, I almost got done listening this morning. I got in the truck to go to breakfast, most important meal of the day.
Right.
And my CarPlay came up and it said, "Oh, Food Truck Life." I'm like, I better just listen to see what they were up to. So I listened to it on the way to breakfast and on the way back. I got all but the last 7 minutes before I got up here and had to jump
So
on.
did you approve?
Yeah, I approved. There was a lot
Except
of
for the introduction?
I should have got paid $5 for every time you said the word Darren.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to fill in for you, make up for
Yeah.
you. So
It is.
Yeah. Part of the reason food trucks in downtown Des Moines, we've got this thing that you can't be within, I can't remember if it's 250 or 500 yards of a restaurant.
right,
That's our food truck policy in Des Moines. So
right.
you really, any metropolitan area, you can't be anywhere.
Springfield, same way.
Yeah.
You can't be
So-
so
I knew there
close
was
to
a
a
reason.
restaurant.
Yeah, I can't believe these guys are getting away with it in Ankeny. Actually, they're parking it. There's Hispanic trucks parking in the Menards parking lot right next to the Burger King and whatever. I can't believe they're just not raising a shit fit about it.
Well, from my standpoint, I look at it as common courtesy. I'm not going to set up close to a restaurant because they got more overhead. Well, no, I shouldn't say. They've got overhead, maybe more overhead, and they're there every day. And I just won't do it. I won't set up close to a restaurant.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. And again, I think it's just common courtesy that you don't,
No, I totally agree.
But a lot do, and that's the problem. That's when people complain, and everybody feels the repercussions of what's going on, So
And I love that it's in your conversation last week about the food truck versus the food trailer. It's crazy. It's just that perception of food truck of an actual truck.
right,
It's the look of a truck, even though I could be so much more cost efficient with a trailer.
right,
I can be more, there's so much maintenance issues. There's so much things that can go wrong with a food truck versus a trailer. You only got a couple axles going to go wrong. If your truck goes down, you rent a truck, you pull the trailer. Whereas your truck goes down, it could be down for 2 weeks and you could have to cancel all your events.
well,
Whereas if the trailer, you lose a tire, you replace the tire, you're back up in an hour, or an axle, you're down for a day. Pretty standard stuff, but people just don't get that. They like that food truck. They like to look up to that window. They like that but from an and it's easy to get in and out of. But other than that, So
That's
much
about it.
easier to have a trailer, but you got to have somebody that can back that damn trailer too.
Right. Like you talk about the truck, there's something wrong with our truck. It's and I got a guy going to come look at it tomorrow, and he may say, yeah, you can go ahead and run it like that until we get it fixed, or we may be shut down for 2 or 3 days, and that depends on when he can get us in,
Right.
That's the worst part of it is you find out what the problem is, and then, you'd like to say, okay, I'll bring it this afternoon. Well, I've got 4 other trucks that I'm working on ahead of you, so
right.
I'm sitting here thinking I did the schedule for the guys, and it's like by the time when that guy comes and looks at it, it all may change,
Yeah.
And then you got to call events and stuff and say, hey, we're not going to be able to do them, and it is what it is.
So what else did I miss when I was traveling the Northern Canada circuit?
Well, we had our FFA Convention week, which
was that good?
Fabulous. Yeah, it was really good. Starting at 10:30, going till about 2:00, just continuous lines. Just a line, probably 50, 60 people deep.
Nice.
And our biggest thing was we couldn't take orders fast enough, and I'm the one taking orders. The guys could get the food out. We had 3 guys and myself in the truck, but it was the deal of being able to take the orders fast enough.
Huh.
And
you had a pretty good social media presence.
Yeah, we fed a lot of people. We fed a lot of people. Yeah.
What'd you sell? Did you have a simplified menu?
No, we did our regular menu.
Really?
And our number one seller was our Big Mac Daddy, our macaroni and cheese with pulled pork on it.
Yeah.
And overall, our mac and cheese. I mean, we sold more mac and cheese than we ever have.
Really?
Matter of fact, on Thursday, we had mac and cheese for Thursday day, and then we had mac and cheese for Thursday night. And we had to go in, and we wiped out Thursday night's mac and cheese and had to have Marla bake, put some more in the oven, and have it ready for when we come home to reload, because we went through that much goddamn mac and cheese. And our potato casserole sales have went down, but our mac and cheese is just completely went through the ceiling, and it usually isn't like that.
Oh, that's good, because your mac and cheese cost is now cheaper, right?
Yeah, it's cheaper than it was before,
and a lot less labor than your taters.
Right. So I mean, we've actually had to go out and buy more extra deep stainless steel half pans to do prep work into, because we were running out of pans, and then halfway through the week we were having to stop and do prep work. This way we get an extra day or 2 in that we don't have to do prep work, that we already have it done, so.
Yeah. That's
so
good.
What's new in your world?
Are you running pan liners in there?
I should just hang up. That's about the silliest question I've ever been asked. Hell yes, it is. There isn't there isn't one thing that goes in a pan if it doesn't have a pan liner. And the bullshit of they may say we can't find them once, but after that, and there's been some of them had to scrub those mac and cheese pans after, if they haven't had a liner in them. That only happens once. So
we can't keep them things in stock. We need to be buying pallets of that shit.
Yeah, I bet you guys go through a lot of it, don't you?
Oh God, it seems like we always buy 15 boxes at a time.
And
it's like every other week, it's like, hey, we're out of pan liners. Hey, we're out of pan liners. Hey, we're out of pan liners.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But their cost of them, I can't remember. I don't think the cost is too much on them, but the amount of labor it saves is unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy.
Of having to scrub pans and stuff.
Yeah.
So what'd you have going on last week? How'd the fishing trip go?
Fishing was super good. I was combination fishing and general contractor from afar.
Okay.
So
So
I
you
had
did have
Wi-Fi.
cell service.
So no, I had Wi-Fi, so I was able to text iPhone users.
Mhm.
So I had Wi-Fi and email.
Okay.
So I was able to kind of stay on top. I had my assistant general contractor, Sherry, working from boots on the ground.
Right.
So I kind of spent every morning from 6 to 5, 6 to 8 in the morning working, and then every night from about 5 till 8 or 9, I was able to stay on top of stuff about what was going on.
Well, good. That's good.
Yeah, so we got all the plumbing put in the floor at the new restaurant. We got the floor repoured. We got a wall reframed in. Got plumbing in the wall. Got all 3 HVAC units put on the roof and ductwork put in. It was a big week that I probably shouldn't have been gone, but oh well, it all got done. So.
Well, it sounds like it got done. So.
Yeah, it got done. So who
when
knows?
are you looking at an opening date?
Who knows?
Do you have an idea?
Who knows?
Okay.
We're one of the things about tearing out that kitchen floor is we poured back in the floor last Monday, and now from last Monday, now I got to wait 28 days before I can do anything with that floor. I got to wait for the concrete to cure 28 days before I can put a covering on it.
Okay.
Otherwise, the covering will just peel off.
And you know why that'll peel off, Darren?
Why?
It's the effervescence process in the concrete.
Oh.
And it's the curing process that the salts and minerals from the concrete come to the top, and that's what will push your coating on.
Do you think 28 days is a proper curing? Will it get it all?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I still would acid etch it. Make sure they acid etch it so you get some adhesion.
Whoa, you're throwing some pretty big words out there, Randy.
Yeah.
I did it for 15 years.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny. It was funny. I'd go back and forth text messages. I'd send Sherry a message. Okay, going out in the boat, going to lose it, whatever. And I'd come back into a whole slew of text messages. Well, we're not sure how they wanted to finish the concrete. I'm assuming you're going epoxy floors. So that's what I told them what to do.
Yeah.
And she goes, I just told the contractor, whatever's the most expensive, because that's what Darren will do.
Oh, shit.
At least she knows you.
Yeah, exactly.
At least she knows me. Yeah, she was running around. Sherry probably didn't have the best week in the world, of course, because she didn't have her main chef right here. So Sherry doesn't eat very well when I'm not. She doesn't hardly eat at all when I'm gone. And even before I leave, I offer to make her meals and freezer meals and whatever. Oh no, I'm fine. And then you get back and she looks like she hasn't eaten in a week.
Right.
She's just horrible at that. And I'm like, you know how to cook. Just get something simple and eat. And hey, what'd you eat? Well, I had some peanut butter pretzels that day. And she's just, so now I got back and now I'm like, okay, make her a good meal. And, it's like, now I'm forcing her, okay, you're fucking eating this and you're eating this and you're eating this. And so now I'm her eating coach again. So
you're just a good husband.
Just a trophy husband.
Trophy. I should have known that. So how's everything at the restaurant going when you were gone?
I don't know.
Or have you got that far?
I haven't got that far. That's why I thought I better come in and record this first. Because it's Father's Day, which is our busiest day of the year. So I'm not even sure I'm going to that restaurant. I'm not even sure I'm going to that restaurant today.
I wouldn't blame you.
So Father's Day is busier than Mother's Day?
Yeah. Dads want barbecue and moms don't want to cook. So they're like, okay.
Yeah. Yesterday was really crazy at the restaurant. And the only note I heard was we were out of beef sticks in the merchandiser. So that's a good sign.
If that's all the only problem you got, you're in pretty good shape. And
I already knew that we were out of beef sticks. Right. So.
So those beef sticks that you put in are selling pretty decent?
They weren't, but now they're really picking up speed. So but I can't get any till next Thursday, so that's fine.
How much of your business do you feel like you get in there this time of year? Now it's tourist season, people traveling, going here and there. You're right on Interstate 80. Do you have any idea how much of your business is tourist business compared to local business? Or do you have any way to really tell?
I don't think there's anywhere to tell except for walking around the parking lot, but I think that tourist business is there all year long for us.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think it's there just all year long. It's just, I just read it in reviews, people coming around, hey, passing through. And I tend to, the people who have never been there before tend to leave the reviews,
right?
Versus your normal people don't leave reviews that have been there 100 times. They don't tend to leave reviews versus people that have tried it for the first time. We got the 1 yard. We got the old 1-star review this week. We got 5-star reviews and 1-star, and the 1-star reviewed is cute is better. Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, yeah, you like cute better. That's fine. I don't care. Okay, so it's either a 1-star or a 5-star in your book. I'm like, what a dumbass. Really? I mean, it's just like, just people suck.
What about since you've been involved? How long ago has it been since you've been on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives for the first time?
Like a long time.
Well, 2013. So
11 years.
11 years ago.
So do you still feel like you get getting some response from that?
Oh, constantly, all the time.
Really?
All the time.
Yeah, it gets rerun all the time.
It gets rerun probably 8 to 10 times a year. And
Can you tell when it's rerun?
Oh, you bet we can. You bet we can. My phone blows up, and second of all, our wings and our apple dumpling sales, you feel that bump.
Really?
Yep. You feel it all the time.
Huh. Do you have people? I've always heard people that they make a vacation out of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. They have the book, and they're going across. They're going to be in blah 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 blah, and it's like, okay, we're going to go to here and here. Do you have people tell you that?
Oh yeah, they come across not even the book, but on the app. They have an app for it and whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like the thing is, I think there was 4 restaurants in Des Moines that they featured, and only 2 of us are still open. It's amazing how many of those places have closed, and I'm like, I don't understand how you get that type of national exposure, because there is no better exposure in the world than being on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I'll say that. You can win any award. You can win any barbecue award in the barbecue business. You can do whatever you want. I would take Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives over any barbecue award I've ever won when it comes to the restaurant business. As far as accolades.
The first time that ran, what do you think your percent? How much of a percent of increase in business did you get, or do you have any idea?
30%. 30% right off the bat. Yep. Day one, 30%. Never went away.
And it never went away.
Never went away.
And you feel like you're still getting that 30%?
We still get that 30%. We got way more than that 30% now. But
I'll be damned.
I mean, our business our business is over triple of what it was when that aired.
Right. Huh.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's amazing. You often wonder, you see these places on there. It'd be interesting to find out of those other 2 places in Des Moines that have closed, and if there's very many of them around the country that he goes to end up closing, and if it's from a financial standpoint, or is there a standpoint they can't handle all the business?
I was going to say,
I don't know. I'm not sure. Most of the time, it's just I don't think they know how to run a business.
Okay.
I think that's a lot of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Always knew it had a big effect, but I didn't realize had that
huge.
much of a residual effect.
Huge. All for free too. All for free.
Yeah.
Never pay a cent.
Good deal.
But other than that, no. Things are flowing along. Yeah, I pulled the the Ironman was in Des Moines. Was it this weekend or last weekend?
I think it was last weekend.
last
What's the
weekend,
Ironman?
You know, so
that triathlon
Oh,
where
so
they
you run a-
bike and you bike
Okay.
so
you,
much,
you
you
run
run
a,
so
you
much,
run a
you swim so
marathon,
much.
and then you swim a marathon, then you bike a marathon type
Sure.
thing.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah, I'm
So
familiar with it now.
I feel like that was my life starting on Thursday morning or on Friday morning. That was my life. We started up. We came out of Canada on Thursday afternoon and came out of camp about 2:00 and drove down, got to International Falls at 7:00. 7:00? Yeah, we got across the border about 7:30. And we always stay in International Falls at this. It's a brand new hotel. We've been staying there a couple of years anyway. And they got this nice restaurant inside. It's a kind of a brew pub restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So we walked in. It was 7:30. We got into the hotel, and they're like, well, table of 8. And they weren't very busy. Table 8, probably going to be about 8:20. And we're like, okay, we'll wait. Better than going to McDonald's. So they sat us down we said we just waited in the lobby till 8:20 and finally come back. And she's like, well, we're only taking reservations. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy that's supposed to be here at 8:20. Oh, yes. Okay. We'll get your table over here. So we knew how fucked up that was going to be. Well, like your drink order? Nope. Just take our food order right now.
Right.
Food order, drink order, whatever.
Right.
And oh my God. Here starts coming out the food. Okay, so here comes one food order with a drink order. And then, a couple of the guys that ordered sandwiches that came with fries, and they said, hey, we want cottage cheese with it instead of fries. So here comes the cottage cheeses out. Okay, before their drink. Okay, it was the most fucked up thing I've ever seen in my life. And so here's the 13-year-old that was with us. He doesn't like any tortilla potatoes at all, which is crazy. He doesn't like French fries, doesn't like anything. He ordered chicken strips, but he wanted mac and cheese, no French fries. Well, here comes his chicken strips with his French fries, no mac and cheese. So, and he wanted ranch dressing. Didn't get any ranch dressing. 20 minutes later, here comes his ranch dressing. It took an hour for the last person to get their food. They would bring like one plate out every 10, 12,
What
15
the hell?
minutes.
Was the place that busy?
It took a half hour for us. No, we were the only food coming out of the kitchen. And I was ready to go back in the kitchen going, how can I help you guys? Because and it was like they were just ordering a fucking burger and a French dip.
Right.
I know the French dip. Right. You're not cooking the roast beef. All you're doing is dunking it in au jus. Right. And I knew better. I was trying to eat healthy like I have been. So they had a special that was pork chops and vegetables and a sweet potato hash. And I'm like, this is going to be a mistake. I know the pork chop's going to be fucking well done jerky, but it's the only thing even close to being healthy on this menu. So me and my buddy ordered that. It was the last stuff to come off. And I'm like, oh my God, it was fucking
That's
horrible.
not good.
But at least the vegetables were good, right? It had veggies for dinner. A little bit of a pork chop that was chewy and tough and shit. But I mean,
Is this a national chain?
No, it was a local place.
Oh, local place.
But it was, well, the hotel was I don't know. It was not a big walnut, a cobblestone, I think it was.
Okay.
But the restaurant was just kind of a local thing. And
sure.
I have never seen such horrible. I mean, she'd come to the service table and she'd serve somebody their meal and their water glass would be empty. And she'd go, do you want more water? And they go, yeah. And there'd be 2 empty water glasses next to them, but she wouldn't ask them. And we go, hey, can we get, and she'd bolt away and get water. And then we wait 10 minutes.
Could she have also she could have just been a new waitress and like learning.
Even if you were learning, I don't know.
Sometimes people get stressed in those when they see an 8 top, and they'll get a little overwhelmed, and then their brain stops working, and then they're just trying to survive.
Well, her brain definitely wasn't working.
So do you think it was more of a waitress standpoint or the kitchen standpoint?
Well, I mean, she put the order in, so the kitchen was just overall fucking. I mean, they closed at 9:00 and they were still bringing us food at 9:30, and we were the only ones in there, and we were the last table sated at 8:20.
Huh.
And
So
there was nothing difficult.
if you would have went back in that kitchen, if that was, first of all, it would never be your place. But if you'd have went back in that kitchen, what do you think you would have seen would have been the problem, and how would you have fixed it?
I've probably seen 3 high school kids on their fucking phone. I'm guessing.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what I would have seen back there, because one person in that kitchen on their phone could have pushed out food faster. I mean, there was nothing extravagant here. Nothing I don't think was made to order. The pork chop was the daily special, and I could tell it had been sitting in the warmer all night long.
Right.
Otherwise, almost everybody did this French dip, which is truly a cold roast beef or a cold ribeye dipped in au jus, put on a toasted bun with some cheese on it.
Sure.
Right? I mean, easiest thing in the world. I mean, my halfway through the meal, my brother-in-law orders, "Hey, can I get a mac and cheese?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, come on." And we're sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm like, "It's just mac and cheese." And like, I could have went back, I could have made the bechamel, melted the cheese, boiled the noodles, cooled them out, baked it, whatever, and I could have got it beforehand. It was crazy.
And then, you tell this story, and then you wonder why people have a bad taste about restaurants and what happens, service they get them. I mean, we try to do the best, and we all try to do the very best we can. And we do the best we can. We're on top of it. But then you get a place like this, and then that's when people are like, well, they could the service was slow, and then they start looking for things wrong. And then they accelerate, oh, they're too high, blah, 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 blah. But down deep, it's bad service. And
you just got to look at, in the meantime, there's 2 bartenders in a bar that had 5 people at it. There's a manager sitting over there that I almost called, and he's just like standing around like everything's fucking great.
Really?
And I'm like, but I'm not that guy. I'm really not that guy, even though I expect people in my restaurant to do that if something's not right. I expect it, but I'm not that guy myself. But I do expect people that if something's wrong, hey, raise your hand, tell me it's wrong, we'll get her fixed.
Right. Exactly.
Right. But here's this manager playing slap ass with one of the bartenders, and you could just tell he's up there flirting around with her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was just disaster. But
anyway. And you guys were about the only table in there, right?
Well, there had been tables in there before, but everybody else was kind of done eating when we got sat. No other food was coming out of the kitchen.
My point is, it's not like they couldn't notice. A person that was doing a manager's job should have noticed, what the fuck's going on with this table over here?
Oh, yeah. I never saw the manager touch the floor. Never once went to any table. The entire time was just kind of leaned against the bar saying, let's get this place closed up.
So we can go out and do some honky-tonking or something.
Yeah. So anyway, but back to Iron Man. And so we got home about 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon on Friday and had to unload all our shit. And so at 3:00, it's like, oh, let's cook a barbecue contest. So there's one in State Center up the road. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy butter and brown sugar and honey and all that other bullshit you need for a barbecue contest. So Sherry, I had her take some meat out of the freezer, but none of it was trimmed. And she had went and got chicken. And so I went home and I started trimming meat and spent a couple hours doing that. Well, then we had this brand new barbecue trailer, and hey, let's take this brand new barbecue trailer that had nothing in it. And so we had shit spread around all over the garage. So let's start loading the barbecue trailer and,
oh boy,
get it all ready to go and find one thing after another. And my friend had just put the pit on it. So, hey, I need to do a little plumbing on the pit, and I need to do this. And hey, let's mount this generator on the front. And we go to mount the generator, and I got to go get some bolts and all this stuff. Well, here we are. It's 9:00 at night. and I still don't have the generator mounted. And Sherry's like, screw the generator. I'm like, well, no, it's going to be 90 degrees and we have a refrigerator and I need an air conditioner. So there's no way. Right. I said, fuck it. Abort mission. We're not going to State Center tonight. I'm just going to hook the pickup to it. I got the generator in the back of the pickup and I'll just go up there early in the morning and just do it. And if you want to come to State Center, fine. And if not, whatever. We're not going to take the motor home and whatever. So that's what I did. So after the night before, I only had about, well, let's see, we finally got to bed at 10:30 and got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and to come back. And so I got to bed about 10 o'clock and got up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And
oh, shit.
Headed to State Center and I'm going down the road. And I said, GPS, I hit, give me the fastest route to State Center because you can get there about 10 different ways. It's only a 45-minute drive. And so I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden I come to this intersection and I got a brand new trailer behind me that I had just got done power washing and cleaning up at 9 o'clock the night before. And I run into 3 gravel roads and I'm like, oh, shit. Be shitting me. And I'm like, I don't have time to turn around because I have to get there and get this fire lit and get this meat on in order to get turned in time. So I'm like, okay, 10 miles.
What time of morning was this?
It was about 4 o'clock.
That's what I was thinking. I know what time you usually start.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning, right? So I'm trying to get the pit lit. I'm trying to get set up and get the pit lit by about 4:45.
Right.
So I'm like, well, gravel road. So 10 miles of gravel. When I get to that contest site, I've got a half inch of dust all over everything. And I'm like, God damn it. So the pit, I'm trying to dust off the pit so I don't get gravel dust in the food. I open the trailer and there's just a cloud on the inside because the manufacturer never sealed around any of the pipes underneath the kitchen sink.
Oh, fuck.
And so I got dust all over the inside. I'm trying to prep meat and, you know, normally you like to inject your brisket and pork and stuff. You like to inject it for 4 hours. Well, I knew that wasn't going to be the case. Right. Because I got to get it on in an hour. So I put some charcoal in. I lit the fire. I start injecting my pork and my brisket. And I'm like, well, shit, I need to brine my chicken, but there's no way that's getting 4 hours. How am I going to brine it and inject it? And I'm like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll brine it and inject it at the same time. So I injected my chicken. I brined it. I threw it in the refrigerator, got everything done, got the fire going. Sat down, couldn't get a good draw on the smoker because I didn't have a long enough pipe on the smoker because I had to get that done. And so I'm fighting it a little bit, trying to get it up to temp. But I finally get everything on and I'm moving along and I sit down and everything's going good and nothing's getting done. And then Sherry shows up and we get boxes done and we're moving along. And then I finally get the fire up and burning where I want. And the wind switched and got me going and I get everything done and I turn in stuff and chicken I thought was just amazing. Best chicken I'd cooked in a long time. And the ribs were decent and we're turning in pork and it was a little on the underdone side, but so I'm slicing the money muscle a little thin and I'm trying to I found one butt that I could get a little pulled out of. And so I'm turning this in. And I get about half the box built, right? And Sherry goes, I got to go. And I'm like, what? And she goes, I got 2 minutes to turn in. I'm like, what?
Oh, shit.
She goes, close the box. I got to go. I'm like, fuck, I'm only half done building this box. Well, okay. Boop, close the box. Off she goes. I'm like, motherfucker. I mean, literally 3 inches in the front of the box was all green.
Oh.
I had mismanaged my time. I'm like, well, there goes that. Well, so she comes back and she goes, don't do that on brisket. I am not running. She's got a bum ankle. She had tripped down the stairs at Haley's house when I was gone. And she was wearing an ankle brace. I'm like,
oh, shit.
I'm like, I'll run the brisket box. Don't worry about it. I'll run the brisket box. So we do brisket, and the pork was a little dry because it only got injected for an hour, right? So it was. Right. I knew pork and brisket were going to be shit, but I was the 2015. So if I didn't show up, I was ready to say fuck it anyway. Thursday night, I was like, fuck this. Just screw this. I'm going to stay home. I got plenty of things to do.
Sure.
But I was the 25th team to make it a qualifier.
Right.
So I'm like, I won't let them down. I'll go cook it. Well, so I go to turn in brisket. And I take my first slice, and I mean, it's like sawdust. It's just like dry as shit. And I'm like, and I knew it was going to be. It was shit. It was just not injected. It seemed like it wasn't injected at all. It was just not good. And so Sherry's like, ugh. I'm like, yep. I said, just don't even pay attention to what I'm getting ready to do. What? So I had the au jus there, and I just started throwing slices in this au jus. He goes, you never do that. And I said, I know. I'm just trying to get some moisture on it. I said, don't pay attention to what I'm getting ready to do on this next thing. I took a bottle of sauce and I dumped it on the table. And she goes, what are you doing? And I started taking each slice, and I'm just drenching it with sauce and throwing it in the box. Slice by slice. I'm just drenching it. As much sauce as I could get on this brisket. And I know I didn't have a chance, right? And she's like, dude, you have to go. I'm like, how much time do I got? She goes, you got a minute and a half. I'm like, I got all kinds of time. And she goes, you got to go. And I'm like, okay, I'll go. So I close the box and I go, and I start walking, and I kind of take a little shortcut. And I get up to brisket, and people are going, you better get going. And I'm like, she said I had a minute and a half. And then I get up I could see the turning table. I'm about 20 yards away, and the reps are going, you better run. I'm like, what? You better run. Okay, well, I got my fucking hey dudes on, so I start running. Laid my brisket blocks down. I had 3 seconds left.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, well, why don't you guys tell me? I said, sure, you said I had a minute and a half. And she goes, I also told you it took 2.5 minutes to get there. Oh, I didn't hear that part. Oh,
didn't hear that part.
Well, if I wouldn't have made brisket turn in, then the whole thing wouldn't have counted, and that wouldn't have been a qualifier.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought people were fucking with me, saying, hey, you need to run. I'm like, what? Because people will say that. They'll fuck with you.
Sure.
And of course, I wasn't looking at my clock to see what time it was. I was just fucking walking. So anyway, I got it turned in, and I'm like, well, I may get a call on chicken. Ribs, I don't know. Ribs were okay. But pork and brisket, not one chance. We go to awards, no call in chicken. I'm going, you've got to be shitting me. I'm going, well, not getting any calls today. First place in ribs.
No kidding.
I'm like, okay, well, I'll take that. We never tasted them.
Right.
Just felt them. Like, fine. First place in ribs. And then I get a call from 8th place in pork. And I'm like,
what place?
8th.
Huh.
And I'm like, wow, what a gift. That's a gift. And I'm like, well, I can go hook up my trailer now. I'm done. And they called me for 5th place in brisket. And I stood up and I said, I refuse to accept this award. I said, there is no way. There is no way. That was total dog shit. I refuse to accept this award. And they're going, no. I'm like, there's no fucking way. And I always have this bet with Dustin at Hogline. We bet $1 on brisket every contest that we're together. And if we're not together, then we get a pick. He either gets to pick his Minnesota team, or I get to pick my Iowa team as a proxy vote. And that son of a bitch and beat me. Well, he brought me some of his brisket, and I looked at it, and it was just rubbery. And I'm like, you motherfucker. He goes, well, here, take my $1 today. And I'm like, oh no, mine was total dog shit. Take my $1. Well, that little fucker gets first in brisket. He ends up winning the contest. I was so happy for him.
No kidding.
He got a 701. He won the brisket. But I got 4th overall in the contest for showing up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So It worked out okay. But I didn't deserve 4th overall, except for my chicken.
That you didn't get a call in.
I didn't get a call in, but I got my score sheet. And I got a 999, 999, 999, 998. So almost 4 perfect scores. And then 977, 977.
You're kidding me.
No. So I had 2 judges, and one of them would have been thrown out, but that 977 just throws you totally out of the
Throws you in the
out of
pit,
chance. Yeah, throws you in the pit. I wouldn't have won, but
Interesting.
it probably would have thrown me up into second. But
I'll be damned.
just the principle thing. But it was fine.
But you made the 25 team cut, and so it was a qualifier. And
yeah, it was a
everything.
qualifier, and it was fun. It was fun. It was a good, refreshing. Let's just say after 2 nights of 4 and 5 hours of sleep, I slept really well last night.
I bet you did.
I bet.
Slept really well. So people say
bet.
when you come back from vacation, are you refreshed? Maybe one more night of sleep and I'll be refreshed, but not yet. Not yet. But it was fun. It's always fun. It's always fun to go up there, and we always eat good and just fresh air. You always sleep good. We have beds up in Canada. They're just little single beds on 2x4 frames on plywood.
Right.
And you never, there's no better sleep in the world. And I tell the camp owner, I'm like, man, I'm going home and I'm going to build me a single bed with plywood. And he goes, Darren, I think it has something to do with the fresh air.
How far up in Canada were you?
About 6 hours north of the border.
6 hours?
Yeah. Yeah. So lots of fun. We took the 13-year-old with us. So Sherry's nephew went with us and brought his 13-year-old son. So it was quite a learning experience for the 13-year-old being around a bunch of old guys. And so we sometimes say things that we probably shouldn't in front of a 13-year-old.
Sure.
And some things we shouldn't even say on podcasts, but like my
let's
brother-in-law Terry and his buddy, they have an island that they like to fish, and we call it Brokeback Island.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Right. And so we kept talking about.
Is this one of the things that you probably shouldn't be talking about on a podcast? That's
fine. So anyway. This is why people listen to our broadcast, and you on it, Emma, for these type of expressions. Yeah. So anyway, we talk about you fuckers where are we going fishing this morning? I suppose you fuckers are going to Brokeback. Well, anyway, so Ethan wanted to know about, well, what's Brokeback? And his dad had to explain stuff to him.
Oh,
no. So I told his dad about the first day. I said, hey, I know these guys aren't really holding anything back when it comes to anything here. Right? And he goes, no, don't stop a thing. He said, don't stop saying, keep being your normal selves. He says, because I've never had so many teaching moments in my life. He says, it's allowing me to teach my kid a lot about life. Right? And so when you guys are talking about certain things that you think he would be offended by, whether it's, somebody calling somebody whatever.
Right.
He's like, he'll ask me about that in the boat, and I'll say, well, this is how the real world works, son, and da 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 da. And he says, I've had so many teaching moments that I can't sit down. I wouldn't just sit down and start a conversation like this.
Sure.
And he says, so I feel like that it's just a real growing thing between him and I about teaching this.
Oh, that's nice.
And so he said it's really been positive about being around adults and them talking in different languages and talking in different, off-color humor.
Right.
For a young kid to get explained why they're talking like that and the history behind that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, Dad, I'm going to go home. Let's go home and rent that. I want to know about this Brokeback.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Whatever.
No.
And so, no, it was funny because I sent a Facebook message to his mom and I said, Tara, sorry. But she knew. She knew. I mean, she knew. But I mean, I think he came away. He came in a really shy 13-year-old and left a very vibrant, because he's very quiet
really? Okay.
Kid, just very soft-spoken. I mean, it's like we have walkie-talkies. We talk back and forth about. And the first time he would try and say something. His dad would tell him to say something. And you could hear his dad in the background going, Ethan, you got to speak up to him, and he would just like whisper whatever. And by the end of the time, he's like, guys, get over here. I just caught that. He was, but then the little fucker caught a 30.5-inch walleye.
I saw that.
So we've like dreamed of ever catching a 30-inch walleye. I've been going to Canada for 30 years and never caught anything that big. And he catches it on his third day trip.
I'll be damned. I bet he was fired up.
That's pretty cool.
Super fired up. Super cool. Fired up. So lots of fun, but overall fun trip. But now it's hardcore jamming to the restaurant, jamming.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, and I just don't know. I can't remember. When's the bike ride thing through Iowa?
End
or
of
has it
July.
already been? It's not until July.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are
They
you
do it
going
on
to
like
be
the
involved
hottest
in
week
that?
of the year.
I signed up the food truck for it down in St. Charles, and then I yanked out of it.
Okay.
Why?
Well, that's back, right? I signed up when we had the food truck manager, and then I yanked out when I started to see that's probably when that new restaurant was going to open, and after I fired the food truck guy. So my friend's the organizer, and I said, hey, we're going to get rid of this truck. I'm not sure the timing, just not in the cards.
Right.
I'd rather call you 2 months out and say, hey, I'm not doing this, than call you the week before and say I'm out. So she understood.
Sure.
She understood, but
she appreciated that, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was an interesting week. I was listening to your podcast last week about the inventory thing. Because last
Did we
week
teach
was
Darren
probably
something?
What?
You didn't teach me anything, but it was just kind of fitting that I call it the Oswell inventory, the oh shit, we're out.
Yeah.
Because if one day was one day, every day was a oh shit, we're out. Because Sherry, before we left, about 2 days before she left, she said, because Alex and I do most of the ordering for the specialty items, whether we're ordering online or whatever. And she goes, these guys are leaving for Canada fishing. If there is anything you need that involves these two ordering stuff, you need to say right now what we need. And so nobody says anything. And then all of a sudden, as soon as we left, here, hey, we're out of this. Hey, we're out of this. Every day. Hey, we're out of this. Hey, we're out of this. And oh my God, Sherry was just fuming at this stuff of everything being out of stock. We're out of stock. And then all of a sudden it's like, then we get Sherry and Brenna over at the warehouse because they had to figure out they needed sauce. And they're like, well, we think we're running low on sauce. Oh, you're not running low on sauce. They had to figure out how to get a pallet of sauce down. And I'm like, it's easy. I'm like, sure, you know how to run the forklift. And they're crawling up on a ladder trying to get sauce down.
Oh God, shit. No.
I'm like, call Amanda. Just call Amanda.
Yeah, no kidding.
She's still in town. Call Amanda. Have her do this. Oh, now we got a grocery store up in Ames that needs delivered. Call Amanda. Go have her do it after work. It's fine. Call Amanda. And she's like, well, I don't want. No, call Amanda.
Sure, Amanda loves that.
Right?
Did they actually call Amanda?
I think so. I think she handled the Ames delivery. Just call her. She'll handle it. But it's like, well, I think we're running low on barbecue rub. I walk in this morning. There's 2 fucking pallets. I don't think we're running very low.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're running low on unlabeled fiery barbecue sauce. No, we don't really sell that anymore to anybody. Okay, so no, we're not running low.
That's funny.
But you get them involved. And she's like, I've been running after this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, you just did 20% of my job for the week. Thanks. It was fun. It was fun. They had a pretty stressful week. So, and then we find out last night. So the air conditioner quits running at the corporate office, right? And we've only been there a little over a year.
Ooh.
And it's 80 some degrees in there. And they're like, well, do we want to call? And they work 7 days a week over there. Well, should we call somebody after hours? Yeah, call somebody after hours. So they called somebody out and they said, hey, we think the compressor's bad. Well, then they go back when they wired it. Instead of putting a correct 240 volt breaker in, they put two 120 volt breakers and tied them together with a wire.
Oh.
So if one of them tripped, it would trip both of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
It makes sense.
one of them tripped, but the wire wasn't strong enough and it didn't trip the other one. So it tripped part of the power. So then the compressor was only running under half power, which burnt the entire compressor out.
Must be an air conditioner thing, because our air conditioner in our kitchen's been out for the last 2 weeks.
You're running a sweatshop
Don't
over
put that
there or
evil
what?
out.
It kind of is. I kind of pre-warned the boys that, well, what's happened, we need to just the unit's 15 years old. So they said you might need to order a whole new unit, but you could take and get this one part that's a non-stock item that we've been waiting on for 2 weeks, and they think they can go solder that in there and make that work. Otherwise, we'll have to buy a new unit. And I think when I get back, I think if we have to buy a new unit, I'm going to put one of those mini splits in instead of.
Oh, I would 100% just put a mini split in.
Would you really?
Oh, hell yeah. In that application, hell yeah, I'd put a mini split in. Why wouldn't you? That'll cool that off. One mini split? Hell yeah.
Would cool that off like crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, crazy. And somebody could install that in 3 hours.
What would they have to do? Just cut a hole in the wall and put it in? Oh,
well,
just run. What the fuck am I thinking? What the fuck am I thinking?
It just mounts it. You don't
need
a
I know
hole
how
in the wall.
See, I was the same way when I was in Puerto Rico when we were putting them in the house down there. I had it in my mind they're going to have to come in there and jackhammer a whole fucking hole, section out of the wall. And it's like, no, you just run a hose through the wall. That's all you run through the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, you can mount it on the outside of the building, or you can mount it at ground level, or hell, you don't go all the way to the ceiling anyway, do you?
No.
So you could mount it actually on top of your ceiling if you wanted.
Yeah.
Probably better to do it outside. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway,
I'd put a mini split in that bitch right away.
Yeah. I probably should have just did that instead of trying to get the part, because they're not sure this new part's going to work. But do air conditioner companies here in the Midwest, do they not like mini splits or?
Well, here's the problem is HVAC companies normally don't like them because nothing, they run without flaw.
Okay.
So they don't get to service them all the time.
Okay.
Like the other stuff they get to work on. Yeah, my brand new barbecue trailer showed up and the air conditioner didn't work. And I'm like, did you guys test this from the factory? He's like, well, I'm assuming they did. I'm like, well, there's no air at all. So while I was in Canada, Sherry had Kyle come out and look at it. The copper had shattered. A piece of line had shattered. And so he had to come solder a piece of copper in the middle and charged it up. Worked fine all weekend.
It works fine. Yeah, it's going to be hot in there tomorrow. We got a lot of prep work to do, and there's no air.
It's supposed to be upper 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
Better get the fans out.
They're already out. They run. I got one sitting in the window blowing air in. So
you probably should get the air blowing out, dude.
Well, I got another fan on the door blowing air out.
Okay.
They're young.
They're young. Well, yeah, they're football players.
Yeah, they're used to being hot.
Yeah, right.
So, we'll make it.
What else?
That's about it that I know of.
Nothing educational this week. Do your inventory.
Do what?
Do your inventory.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we're out. Oh shit, we're out inventory.
No, I did that Thursday, and actually have everything I need. Came in Friday, so. But of course, I need a little bit of this, a little bit of that, so.
Yeah.
It's like, how the fuck did I forget that? So. You know what I'm
All the
talking
time.
about.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday afternoon, they sent me a message. They texted me at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Hey, can you or Sherry run to Sam's Club right now? We need concession stuff for the food truck tomorrow. I'm like, out of town. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Plan
okay.
better. You knew the food truck was going to be a concession stand this morning. You knew that like 10 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Why you wait until Saturday afternoon to get your shit?
Right.
Right? Plan better. We're getting horrible at planning.
Last
Plan
minute.
better.
Doing
Yeah, I think I'm going to implement a new rule at Smokey D's. Anytime you ask me to do something last minute that could have been planned out better, I'm going to deduct $500 from year-end bonuses. I'm just going to deduct $500 from year-end bonus. Anytime you say,
I don't know if it'd work.
if all of a sudden, I know it's just, but if you until at the end of the year when they don't get any bonus at all, because it's like you have a box of labels, right? You got a whole box of labels,
Mhm.
and you get down to one roll saying, "Hey, we're out." Well, no, when it's down to it's in a box. We have to order this. This isn't something we just order and get tomorrow. It takes a week or two to get.
Right.
Or going into this weekend, like Sherry last week, they come in. Hey, we're out of Jarfay jars. Really? We're going into Father's Day and we wait until fucking Wednesday? And you know who
To
orders
realize
the
you're out of
Jarfay
jars.
jars? Speaking of that, look at there.
There you
Calling
go.
in. Oh, yeah. Today's first problems. She's already called twice.
I
Wonder if
love
she
it.
has anything.
Really? Well, I don't have anything else.
Okay, well, we'll see if we can survive Father's Day, and maybe we'll bring something educational in this week instead of a bunch of rambling.
All right. I'm sure
Emma?
we will.
We'll see.
We expect you to bring more next week, too.
Well, what was I supposed to say? I don't fish. I don't own a food truck. I just like to be here. I like to listen.
Just like
I was
to
looking
be
at my
here.
yard a lot. I got to mow today. It's terrible. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, you guys know the drill. Follow us on social media at Cue the Mic Pod, or find us on YouTube at Cue the Mic Podcast. Subscribe, do all the things. Randy, take it away, dog.
Boom. We're out of here. Done. See you next week.
Boom. See ya.
We'll see you guys next week.